Okay, thank you. I will speak in English so that I can be more fluent. My Swedish is not so fluent. Um, when I was asked to speak today, I think I was asked to do a PowerPoint presentation. I said, no, on the part of my life, I'm going to tell it because I feel more comfortable saying it the way I live it. It's just like revisiting that life again and making it so original, being me. This is my story. This is my story of polio survivor. Growing up in Cameroon at the age of 3, from 3 to 3 years, 4 months, I was a very healthy young boy, full of energy, just playing like any other kid. But one evening, I went to play with my friends, and I came back. The next morning, I could not wake up. My mother took me to the hair center. They could not find any solution for me. As the days go by, my muscles begin to weak, and then paralysis set in. They took me to all kind of clinic, even traditional witch doctors. They could not help me. When they went to one traditional witch doctor, he told my mom that they should go and put me closer to the river, so I should go back from where I come from, that I'm a child from the spirit world. And that's what they have done with many children who suffered polio during that time, because they did not know due to ignorance. They thought, oh, these are just children coming from the spirit world. They should go back to where they come from. So, but my mom said, no, this child is good. He's been playing, doing other things, and he's not been bad. So why should I go and throw my child? I would prefer to keep trying. So there was no other solution for me, because after I became paralyzed, I could only crawl. So, and all the neighbors, they refused their children to come and play with me because I'm no more walking, I'm just crawling. And then some family member even stopped visiting my mom. And we became very isolated. So I could only go out because they were saying that my family, that I'm a curse, I'm a witch, and I'm a disgrace. And even my mom sometimes, was very ashamed of me to come out, especially when visitors are in. They always ask me to go in the room so that people should not see me. But every morning, I'll have to crawl, go out and warm sun, and bath myself, and then crawl back in. One day, I was crawling to go and warm my son as usual. When everybody has gone to the farm, the children have gone to school, then I'll come out that time. I'll crawl and come out and sit in the sun. So one day I was crawling, coming out to sit in the sun. The Reverend Sister from England was passing, Sister Julius. She was a Catholic Reverend Sister. So she saw me crawling, and she stopped by because we were not staying far from the convent. And she said, hello, how are you? And I was shocked because during that time I was around the age of 6, from 3.5 up to that. Nobody has ever stopped by to say hello to me apart from my mom or other thing. So I was even afraid that, is she mad or is she normal? Because in my world during that time, no normal person would stop to talk to me because everybody suspects I'm something very bad. But she stopped by and said, why can't you walk? I said, I don't know. I just became ill, paralyzed. I explained my life to him, how I've been doing, coming out every day, crawling out of the house just to warm the sun. So she said to me, okay, I'll pass back in the evening and see your mom. I think I have a solution for you, but I can't really promise much. Don't put your high hope, but I think I would like to talk with your mother. I said, okay. My mom has gone to the farm. She will come back in the evening. And when my mom came back, I told her Sister Julie passed and stopped by while I was crawling to bath myself in the sun. I said, okay, but what must you have done to her? Did you hurt her? Have you done anything bad to anyone? Why will a Reverend Sister want to see me? I said, I don't know. She just said she's coming back. I said, okay. So Sister Julie came around 6, and told my mom that there is a rehabilitation center in the bigger city, because I was living very in the interior. Maybe the rehabilitation center was 3 hours drive from where I was staying. So the following week, my mom took me to the rehabilitation center, and I was operated and given crutches, given my brace. I started learning how to stand up again, walk by using crutches. So after 6 months of rehabilitation, I became very good in walking with crutches. Then we came back. After 2 months again, when we came back from rehabilitation, Sister Julie came again and told my mom, this your son is now getting to 7 years. You see, it's good that you send him to school, even though he's using crutches. Good that he go to school. My mom said, but are you sure the school is going to accept him even? Because in the village here, everybody sees him as a witch. Nobody wants to associate with him. How am I even going to convince the teachers to accept him to go to school? But anyways, Sister Julie said, just try. We don't know. Maybe they could accept. Just try and let him go to school. So my mom accepted that plan and came back and told me that we're going to the tailor. It was on a Friday. We're going to the tailor this afternoon. You're going to sew you a uniform. I was just happy that I'm leaving. At least I'm leaving the house to go somewhere else, or I'll get a new dress. I didn't even know what a uniform is. So I went, had a uniform. On Monday, my mom said, you see those children, they're going to school. You can just follow them. I said, but come with me. I don't know where these children are going. I don't know who is there. And you know, everybody hates me. He said, no, I'm not coming with you. Just follow them. Where they're going to stop is the school. And you just go. Just tell the teachers you are a new student and you're going to class. I said, okay. Yeah, I didn't have any choice because it was mom. You know, the worst thing is to disobey an African mom. Then you're really in trouble. So I just started following those children on my crutches. On my way to school, some of them, they were just surrounding me. Some were imitating how I was walking. Some were asking where I was going. Others were like, why could your family allow you come out and join us on the street? What if something happened to you? So that was even just the beginning. When I arrived in school, the whole school came out just to look at me as if I was an alien. And even the headmaster asked, why could your parents even allow you to come to school? They must be very irresponsible to allow a disabled child to come to this school. So when I get into class, the head teacher said, no, she's not going to teach. She cannot teach a class where there's a disabled child in. And after the headmaster came and said, okay, let's just try. I'll talk to the parent just for today. And then she came back to class and I was given the bench behind. And I was the only one sitting on that bench. Nobody in the class wanted to sit with me. So when I came back from school that day, I told my mom, I don't want to go back to that school. When I arrived there, everybody came out and was looking at me. Even the headmaster from the teacher, they didn't want me there. And my mom said, okay, but you should not let the eyes of people deter you from achieving your goal. So there's no chance of you not going back there. Tomorrow, you are going. So as she said that, in the night when everybody was asleep, I took my uniform, go and soak it in water so that tomorrow I should not go to school. But in the morning, I told my mom my uniform fell from the room were dry into the water, so there was no way I could go to school. She said, no, you're going to wear a sorted dress. You have another dress. It's not a question of you staying back home. So I wore an assorted dress. On my way to school, the same scenario. It continues like that for about 2 or 3 weeks. Then they started getting used to me. They were not looking at me. The teachers got tired of talking. But as I was sitting alone, that helped me a lot because I concentrated on my schoolwork. After the first term exam, I became one of the best in my class because nobody was playing on me. That gave me an opportunity to concentrate on my education. So from first term, second term, third term, year one, I was the best. Year two, year three, year four, that's when I started having friends. Like I became very good in school, and other children had to come and ask me when they have homework. I could even help them. So I had some friends during that time. But I know that they were coming closer to me just because I have something to offer to them. That it was not really a genuine friendship. So after 7 years, I finished my primary school. I thought I was done with school. No. Sister Julie came back again and told my mom, you see, he has finished a primary school and he was very good. So now we're going to use him. We're going to go around the villages and he's going to talk to parents of children with disability so that we can help them also to send their own children to school. So I didn't spend my summer holiday like any other kid. I had to go with Sister Julie through the whole villages around and even in the city on the radio and talk and give example about myself and encourage other parents who have children who were polio victims to send them to school that they could be as good as any other child because I make it, their own children can also make it. And that year, for the first time, about 100 and something children of polio survivors were sent to school because of my own example. So after that year, Sister Julie said, no, we should form an association. So that's how we formed the first association called Cameroon Disabled Person Association. Mostly it was mainly for polio victims, but other disabled people joined it. And we encouraged, the aim was to encourage parents who has children with disability to send their kid to school. So the association grew and very big, and I went to the secondary school very well. I had my O-levels, went to high school, and then in the university, I went there and was doing biochemistry. Then I joined politics. Because in Cameroon there are two sides of Cameroon. One is English, another one is the French. I come from the English part, which is the minority part of Cameroon. So because I wanted to become an engineer after when I graduated, but there was only one university in Cameroon offering the course to become an engineer. It was in the French part, and during that time I was not speaking French. So I went and took the exam, all the questions were in French. That's how I abandoned it, came back and continued reading my biochemistry. But after the university life, I became more involved in politics, trying to advocate more for the English speaking and also the change of the regime, because during that time the president was like 32 years, around 30 or 28 years in power. And to me, it was like, since I was born, I know only this one person. At least things can change. So through Sister Julia Ford and the organization, that is how, through raising funds for the organization, I came across the Rotary Club because they were one of our sponsors that had sponsored us, give us money to buy books for disabled students and pay their fees. So that's how I became a member, because they heard about our organization through the radio and the work we've been doing, and they were ready to help. And I was very grateful for that. Then I said, no, these are very good people, which means that's how I became part of the Rotary Club in Bamenda. So when I arrived here in Sweden, in August 2015, I was sent to the asylum camp in Nynäshamn. While in the asylum camp in Nynäshamn, I faced a lot of problems, like inaccessibility. The camp was in slope. I could not go down. Sometimes, because we were so many coming in Sweden that time, and the places were really small. Sometimes they gave me bunk bed, I could not climb up there. So I documented all this, and I saw people who were given rooms that their wheelchair couldn't fit in because it was not a suitable asylum camp, because places were full and the migration agency had to just rent anywhere just to house people. So I documented all those things and contacted one Swedish organization called Independent Living Institute and told them that there is a problem here. I've seen that the Swedish Migration Agency is not taking into the need of the asylum seekers, refugees with disability. And I have a project idea in my mind. I don't know if you could partner with me, and then we try to like make a training and also raise awareness about the issue of refugee with disability. And they said, oh, brilliant idea, come. I sat with them, and then that's how I got my first internship after just 6 months in Sweden. I got internship to work on that project. We developed it, we sent it to Alman as funded, and after another 6 months, we got the answer, and we had funding for the project for 3 years. That's how I got my first job. After just 1 year, 2 months in Sweden, I started working on paying my taxes here, and we work on that project. And one of the results of the project is that the migration agency made available 2 accessible accommodation for refugees with disabilities. One in Stockholm here and the other one in Malmö. But after 3 years working with ILI, I left and formed my own organization. Yeah. So we started to form a disabled refugee-led organization called Newcomers with Sweden, Newcomers with Disability in Sweden. It's a disabled refugee-led organization. I'm the founder. It was formed in December 2021, and then we got registered. We formed in November, we got registered. We have 8 board members, which are all disabled persons. Next slide. And then, what is the vision of the organization? The vision is to see that refugees and asylum seekers with disability are seen as a group of their own, so that their individual needs are met during the whole inclusion process. We don't call it integration because we want everybody to be part of the society. Then we also want to empower them, to make them able to speak for themselves, advocate, and being part of the society. Next slide. Well, who is our target group? Our target group is focused mainly on people who have come to Sweden as refugee asylum seekers with disability, without excluding also those who have moved here maybe for marriage or for work that has disability. They are welcome to contact us if they need our help. Our motto is we don't want to leave anyone behind. We leave none of disabled persons behind. We try to help everyone. Next slide. What are the challenges that they are facing here? The main problem that they are facing here is that we have seen is that they have they lack basic IT skills and lack of education. This is because, as you see, as I was sharing my story with you, in Middle East and Africa, that's where most of our members come from, and it's the same treatment. People don't want to identify with their disability. They tend to hide them. They tend to call them witches, and they don't send them to school. So by the time they reach here, they have no education. They have no idea of what, even to send an email, what it is. And then they come and they are allowed to compete in the Swedish job market, which require you to have at least a very high minimum level of education and basic IT skills. That's one of the problems, is that many of them don't have jobs. They're just around sitting. Next slide. How do we work with them? We use the human rights perspective. When they call us, we ask, where are you from? Depending on your migration status, we tell them what you can apply for, what you cannot, depending if you are still an asylum seeker or if you are a refugee. And then we work to empower and try to talk to authorities about their situation. That's advocacy work. We just listen. Some of them come, they don't have anybody. And then we say, we are there. If you just want to talk, yeah, welcome. We can talk with you and just hear what you want to say. And then we help with basic questions. Some of our members are very good in Swedish, and We even have one couple from Finland who are just volunteering with us. When somebody has a letter from authority in Swedish she cannot read or write, then they will help her to translate it and write back the reply on the behalf and see that that person get help. Then we refer them if we cannot find a solution, if we see that it's an issue that can be solved by others from Milligan or Fachans or the community will tell them where to go and get the help from. Then we just have online cafes that we organize just to break isolation. And then we network with other organizations, and then we write project proposals, which we've not yet have a bigger funding. And then we also lobby for improvement. And then we do storytelling, like what I'm saying here, but we do it in a very unique way. I thought that only talking, sometimes some people don't want to listen to just talking when you're telling stories. So I try to develop idea of using the stories to make a board game where people can have it fun. So the board game I'm about to share with you, next slide. It's a board game. The board game is called Sarah's Journey. Sarah's Journey is a board game developed based on a true story of a Syrian disabled woman whom her city of Aleppo was bombed during the war in Syria. And a friend of her called her, tell her to come and seek asylum in Georgia. So she used a very dangerous road using her wheelchair passing through Syria, Iraq, Azerbaijan, Iran into Georgia. When she entered into Georgia, she sought asylum. They put her in a very inaccessible asylum accommodation. After 6 months, the authority discovered that her brother was fighting with ISIS in Syria, so they rejected her asylum application, saying she's a danger to the national security there in Georgia. And then she had to pay smugglers to take her to Turkey. So she passed through the bush as a woman, helping stranger push her on the wheelchair. She don't know them. She almost got raped after hiding in one house where the smuggler kept her waiting for the good time where the police were not on the way, with other migrants on the way, which were boys. Her wheelchair got broken because she didn't have a visa. She has to pass in the forest, which was very inaccessible. But anyway, when she arrived in Turkey, she also paid smugglers to take her through the rubber boat, cross the Aegean Sea into Greece. From Greece, she was fingerprinted, taken to the mainland. She continued the journey through Greece to Macedonia, Serbia, Hungary, Austria, Germany. Then we fast forward the journey when she arrived in Denmark. When she arrived in Denmark to seek asylum, she was fingerprinted, and the Danish authorities said, "Oh no, we've seen that you've been to Greece, which is also a Schengen country, so you are a Dublin case." So they locked her up in a closed asylum accommodation and said, "We're going to deport you back to Greece where you come from." So she paid another smuggler to take her to Sweden. So when she arrived in Sweden, the players have two choices. One choice, when she arrived, during that time, that Sweden were no more sending asylum seekers back to Hungary and Greece. They accepted to hear her asylum case here in Sweden. She was sent to Gothenburg, where she met a women organization that helped her to teach her how to sewing. And then she started learning it. Eventually, she got her resident to stay. But the community helped her with electrical wheelchair. Bostadsfamiljen, they helped her with housing. Arbetsfamiljen came in and helped her to pay her salary with new start job. And then eventually she reunited with her 17-year-old son, which she left back in Syria to take care of her family. In that first scenario, we're just trying to show if the various authorities can give support to people who have come to Sweden with disability, they can become useful for themselves and also pay taxes and become useful for the society. She learned the language and was speaking and was happy. The second option of the game is when she came, Migrations Market fingerprinted her and said, "No, we've seen that. You've been to Greece, you've been to Denmark, so we are sending you to Malta So we lock you up there, and then we deport you to Denmark. Denmark deported her to Greece. Greece put her onto water, and nobody ever heard from her. We don't know whether she arrived back in Turkey or not. Next slide to show. This is just the first cover of the board game that we'll be making. Next slide. This is how the whole cover looked like of the board game. Next slide with the summary. And then this is the board of the board game. You can see how we trace the journey from Syria up to everywhere, where she came to Denmark, Sweden, Malmö. We're still arranging it to be ready soon. Next slide. Yeah, this is the illustration of the whole story that I just told you. See picture one, the first day she was saying goodbye to the son whom she went to take care of the sick father, and then the first bus she took, the first border she crossed, some good Samaritan gave her water. This her on the way. Another refugee was a man just pushing her. She doesn't know who he is. And then this when she crossed into Turkey. She was questioned there in the crossing. And then this is the rubber boat that she used to cross to Greece, where she was fingerprinted, sent in that asylum accommodation. This is the second scenario where they deported her in Malta, sent her back to Denmark, Denmark sent her to Greece, Greece put her back onto water to Turkey, and nobody ever heard from her again. So that's why the wheelchair is empty, without anybody sitting on the wheelchair. So, next slide. Yeah, thank you for listening. So, yeah.